Shabbat Shalom and Chodesh Tov. That's right, it's Rosh Chodesh Iyar. And not only that, and what? You don't remember that it's Iyar? Nobody ever gets that bit. Not only that, it's Friday night. And I think you know what happens when the sun goes down. It's Friday, 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 Friday night when the sun goes down. Friday, 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 Friday night when the sun goes down. What a wonderful Shabbat night, the singing going round and round. Friday, Friday night when the sun goes down. So, we do a couple of things when the sun goes down on Friday night. What's the first thing that we tend to do when we are getting ready for Shabbat? Does a friend know? I know we got some friends that know this kind of stuff here. What's the first thing that we do? I'll give you a hint. You can see it over there. Yeah? What's the first thing we like to do? We do. We light the candles. We light the candles. We light the candles on Shabbat. Bop, 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 bop. We light the candles. We light the candles. We light the candles on Shabbat. Bop, 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 bop. On Friday, 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 Friday night when the sun goes down. Friday, 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 Friday night when the sun goes down. What a wonderful Shabbat night, the singing going round and round. Friday, Friday night when the sun goes down. Okay, so the first thing we do, we light those candles. Now, after those candles are lit, we do another thing. And I'm keeping you in mind in case another person doesn't choose to say something. After we light those candles, the next thing that does happen, you can actually see all three things that happen are on this bima from one side to the other. What's the second thing that we do when it's on a Friday night? You got your brain on. All right, what's the second thing that happens? What do we do? That's our third thing. So you're thinking ahead, and as my high school choir director would say, you're thinking, and I like that. The next thing involves this thing over here. What do we do? What do we do? Yes, we do. We with that grape juice, indeed. We drink the grape juice. We drink the grape juice. We grieve the grape juice or wine on Shabbat. Bop, 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 bop. We drink the grape juice. We drink the grape juice. We drink the grape juice on Shabbat. Bop, 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 bop. On Friday, 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 Friday night when the sun goes down. Friday, 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 Friday night when the sun goes down. What a wonderful Shabbat night, the singing going round and round. Friday, Friday night when the sun goes down. Now, we were told that the third thing that we do is we eat that challah, so let's do it. We eat the challah. We eat the challah. We eat the challah on Shabbat. Bop, 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 bop. We eat the challah. We eat the challah. We eat the challah on Shabbat. Bop, 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 bop. On Friday, 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 Friday night when the sun goes down. Friday, 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 Friday night when the sun goes down. What a wonderful Shabbat night, the singing going round and round. Friday, Friday night when the sun goes down. So as you can tell, I am not Rabbi Javier Catapan. Instead, you're stuck with me, Cantor Rick Lawrence, and it is a pleasure to be with you all tonight. I am joined on the bima, as nearly always, by Maestro Phil on the keys. Always fun to make music with you. And a big thanks to Kayla at the streaming console back there to make sure that all of us here can be seen and heard, including you folks who are out there in streaming TV land. I'm glad that you're able to tune in tonight and enjoy Shabbat with us. I also want to give a big thanks to Kat, our stalwart administrative assistant, who made these programs that you're holding on to tonight. If any of you are asking the question, are we there yet? When it got time, for the service, you're in luck. Everything that's going to be happening during these services is on the first page. So now you'll know where we are and where we are going. I also want to give a big thanks to Dave Winnick, who helped to set up a whole bunch of the things that are physically in here. Also, big thanks to Mike, who helps us out with all of our bookkeeping. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anybody. I think we're good on that front. I'm also delighted that we have all of our friends here from grades 3 and 4 here to celebrate with us tonight, and a big thanks to the Jessen family for organizing all of these moving parts. And also a big thanks to Avi Forstein, who is here, the teacher for the 3rd and 4th grade classes. So thank you all for being here. And also I can't leave out Elizabeth Rosewall and Kenneth Sharbowski, our Hebrew teacher for that class, and their madricha. You'll see more of them in just a moment. I also want to remind you a couple of other things. Now, I know that there are some kids who brought their parents here tonight. Thank you for bringing your parents to services. Now, this message is for those kids, all right? So if your parents feel like they need to run around and make some noise and be silly a little bit, you can take your parents to the Gan Katan room up there, and there your parents can run around and play with some fun toys, and you can still watch the service through the TV that's hooked up to the live stream, so everyone gets what they want. So if you feel a need, you can make sure that you can check in with your parents and make sure that they know what's going on and you can go there together. I also want to make sure that to help create a sacred space, to please silence or turn off anything that could beep, vibrate, or otherwise be a disturbance for tonight's services. I don't know if anyone has a beeper anymore, a pager. I have no idea, but even those, please silence if possible. While we are, I think, in some uncertain times, I do feel some certainty here because we always receive Shabbat. This is called Kabbalat Shabbat. The question never is, are we going to receive Shabbat? It comes every week. We leave the past behind us, and we move forward into this holy time. So the question then is, how do I receive this? How do I receive this special time? And my hope is that together we can receive this with joy and hope for building a brighter future together. Now, if you would please take your siddur, and if you haven't yet had a chance to grab one of these, and hopefully these technical difficulties will be resolved. My apologies, friends. You'll notice, if you haven't had a chance to interact with the siddur, that it does open the right way. And thank you for those 5 people who laughed at that joke. And if you turn open to page 5, at the bottom of the page, let's read together. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light. So may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. And as I alluded to earlier, I would like to invite up Elizabeth Rosewall and Kenneth Sharbowski to light these candles as our 3rd and 4th graders' Hebrew teacher and madricha, respectively. Feel free to do the honors. A seasoned professional, I see. Good matches too.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you both for honoring us tonight. Thank you. Thank you so much. And if you are wondering, why do we light those candles, then cover our eyes and then uncover our hands? That is because I love this bit. Once Shabbat happens, we can't start a fire. So instead, what we do is we pretend we're infants, and we don't have object permanence. So we light the candles before the bracha. We say the bracha with our eyes covered, saying, la, 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 the lights are not there, they're not there, they're not there, they're not there, it's not Shabbat yet. And then open our eyes and, oh, look, the candles are lit. How nice is that? I wonder how that happened. Or as I like to call it sometimes, rabbinic physics. If you would now move our way along, let's say how nice it is that we can be here together on page 8 and celebrate Shabbat. Hine ma tov. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im shevet achim kam yachad. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im shevet achim kam yachad. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im shevet achim kam yachad. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im shevet achim kam yachad. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im shevet achim kam yachad. Hine ma tov u'ma na'im shevet achim kam yachad. On the next 2 pages, you will find the wonderful poem Lecha Dodi, and we are in a special time of the year right now. We are in the counting of the Omer, and I do love it because I love to count. And there is a special melody for Lecha Dodi that happens only in Ashkenazi communities, meaning Eastern European more or less, during the time of the Omer. This is on the endangered tunes list, as I often like to say. And if you haven't picked up the tune quite yet, don't worry, you got 4 more weeks, 5 more weeks? You got some time. Let's enjoy together. Lecha dodi likrat challah pnei Shabbat nekabla. Lecha dodi likrat challah pnei Shabbat nekabla. Shamol v'zachol b'dibur echad. Hishmi'anu el hamiyuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad. L'shem u'tiferet v'litila. Lecha dodi likrat challah pnei Shabbat nekabla. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekol haberacha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'ase b'machshava techila. Lecha dodi likrat challah pnei Shabbat nekabla. Hit'oreri, hit'oreri, ki ba'orech kol mi'ori. Ori, ori, shedaberi, kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha dodi likrat challah pnei Shabbat nekabla. Boi v'shalom hateret bala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzola. Toch emunei am segula, boich challah, voi challah, lecha dodi likrat challah, b'nei Shabbat nekam b'lah. And at the bottom of the page we can sing. Mizmor leyom haShabbat tov lehodot l'Adonai u'lezamer l'shemcha elyon u'lezamer l'shemcha elyon. Mizmor leyom haShabbat tov lehodot l'Adonai u'lezamer l'shemcha elyon u'lezamer l'shemcha elyon. Lehagin b'boker chastecha ve'emunatecha b'leilot alei ason v'alei navel alei ayon v'chinom. O mizmor leyom haShabbat tov lehodot l'Adonai u'lezamer l'shemcha elyon u'lezamer l'shemcha elyon u'lezamer l'shemcha elyon u'lezamer l'shemcha elyon. Now, as we're turning all the way to page 22, I would love some help from my 3rd and 4th grade friends to come on up with me, and we can do this together. Come on up, friends. It's going to be fun on or off a bun. Come on, friends. I don't bite much. Just don't think. Usually if it happens, I give a nibble first. You know, it's only polite. Yay. We got friends. And as they're standing up, we should too on page 22 for Barchu, the call to prayer. Let's turn on and face the ark, friends. Ready? Here we go. Barechu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. All right, friends, bring it in, because after call to prayer, we always talk about time of day. And we can find that on page 28. Well, come on up, friends. Again, I'm not going to bite, really, at all. At least not today. And on page 24, we're going to roll. We're going to roll into dark, and we're going to roll into light. Yeah? Okay. Let's roll. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech. Golel or mipnei choshech, vechoshech mipnei or. Let's get rolling. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. And after talking about the time of day, we always talk about God's love for us on page 28. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Avta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al kein Adonai Eloheinu B'shochveinu uv'komeinu Nasiach b'chukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha Uv'mitzvotecha Le'olam va'ed Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu ve'orech yameinu U'lahem nechke yomam v'layla yomam v'layla V'havatecha t'sim Emanuel le'olamim Baruch ata Adonai Ohein v'amo Yisrael. You're just in time to Jew it up as we sing Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed Shvu Chavrei. Sorry, you can go ahead and be seated, and so can you. Hey, before you leave, pound it, pound it. Want to pound it? Pound it. Don't let me be hanging. Thank you. Love these friends. Now, you can't have one without the other. You always after Shema, we gotta have a Haftarah, which is found on page 36, because they're all part of the same piece of Torah. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים לחיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם Adonai Elohechem Emet. Now keep a finger on page 38 as we turn to page 41 first. Long ago, we were slaves in Egypt. After 10 terrible plagues, Pharaoh finally told Moses that we could be free. We could be free to celebrate Shabbat. We could be free to pray to God. We could be free to be Jewish. But just as we got to the sea, Pharaoh changed his mind again. His chariots and soldiers were coming to take us back to Egypt, back to slavery. Just then the sea parted and we safely crossed to the other side. We couldn't believe it. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. We sang, "Who is like you, Adonai?" Today there are people who are not free. We promise that with your help, we will work hard to make sure that everyone is set free. Then all the world will sing with joy. On page 38. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha, lokei hayom lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze'elianu ve'amru, ze'elianu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh. V'nema kivada Adonai Yaakov v'golomiyah chazak mimenu, baruch atah Adonai gal Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, hapore sukat shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim, ve'al kol amo, ve'al Yerushalayim, shalom, ve'al Yerushalayim, ve'al kol amo, ve'al Yerushalayim, shalom. Baruch atah Adonai, hapore sukat shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, hapore sukat shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat, la'lot otam berit olam. V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat, la'lot otam berit olam. Beni uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti la'olam, oti la'olam. V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat, la'lot otam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai vaso Adonai. Et hashamayim vet haaretz v'shomeru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat le'otam berit olam uvayom hashvi'i shavat v'inafash shavat v'inafash Shavat vayinafash v'shomeru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat le'otam berit olam. You'll find our Amidah begins on page 46. Now, what's fun about this book is that it includes both the daytime stuff and the nighttime stuff, like you do, although, now that I think about it, never mind. This one is just, thankfully, giving us only, never mind. You'll see that there are some times, like on page 54, that you'll see a sun versus a moon on page 52. So if you want to do the daytime stuff too, I mean, fine, you can be a little odd or even, whichever you so choose. Regardless, we will realign on page 56 or 62 when the time does come. Take your pick. If you would please rise and stand in either body or spirit on page 46 for our Amidah. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora El Elyon Gomer Chasadim Tovim ve'Konei HaKol ve'Zocher Chasdei Avot ve'Imahot u'mevii geula livnei b'neihem למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע מורין הטל מכלכל חיים וחסד מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדו מלך מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Please take a moment for private meditation. shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru Amen. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Oseh shalom bimromav, ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru Amen. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru We now turn to those who are in need of healing of either body or of mind or of spirit. And in our community, we offer these names: Jeannie Friedland, Connor Brom, Marcia Margolius, Mary Lou Gray, Carrie Fleischer, Judy Subar, Stefan Ryder, Steve Smeagol, Bruce Roller, Debbie Dennis, Jillian Gatesy, Ron Zagel, Shoshana Yonkers, Jan Ginsberg, Mindy Kahn, Yaakova Itai, Phil Pletcher, Aaron Turner, Charlie Goldfarb, Caroline Zohat, Michael Schwass, Honoria Valdez Murura, Eric Sachs, Tom Risco, Marcela Altamirano, Penny Wenninger, Lori Erling, Sandy Laird, Jack Luber, Steve Davis, Rhonda Pappas, and Larry Luthwick. If there are any other names we wish to add, please do so at this time as both my gaze and arm go around the room. We hold their names and their spirits close to us as we turn open into our program on page 2 for the words to Misha Berach. Misha Berach avoteinu mekol habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors bring blessings of strength, compassion, and healing to those of us who struggle with the oppression of addiction, emotional distress, and mental suffering. Surround them with loving kindness, grace, companionship, and peace. Mi sheberachim oteinu mekol habracha avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. And as we are thinking of those who are in need of healing, either of body, mind, or spirit, we also think of those who are also in a great deal of need, those who are seeking refuge. This prayer was created, it was based on one by the Religious Action Center for Refugees and Migrants, and it was created in 2016, to give you some context. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, our God and God of our ancestors, help all who flee persecution as once you did with our people in Egypt. Teach us to show chesed, loving kindness and compassion, to those in misery and captivity, to those who cross seas and deserts seeking freedom. We too once ate the bread of affliction. Inspire us, Adonai, to be rodfei tzedek, pursuers of justice, for all who long for the liberties we cherish today. And let us say, Amen. So not only do we get a chance to celebrate with our 3rd and 4th grade class, this is also a time for everyone who has had a simcha in the month of April. Anyone who's celebrating a birthday in this month or an anniversary in this month, come on up. And for you all, tonight, there's cake. And for, I guess, anyone else who wants to eat that cake. Here, come on over. I want to make sure that people can see us. So if you please be so kind as to, when this comes to you, give us your name and what you are celebrating. And if you really want to, also the year involved as well.
Josh Badness, April 26th is my birthday.
Hey, and you're turning X number of years old.
38 years old.
Hey, all right, friend. Yeah.
Leah Williams, my birthday was April 9th, and I am 42.
An auspicious number.
Mark Jessen, and my birthday was April 8th, and I'm 44.
We're Peter and Bernie Pastor, and we are celebrating our 10th wedding anniversary.
Mazel. Wonderful.
We're not sharing our age.
Nor would I expect that. Well, I guess.
You can't guess, it's my birthday too.
Yeah, it's your birthday too. I wonder why.
Sam Padness, and I'll be 38 here at the end of the month.
Hot dog.
Shabbat shalom.
And Shabbat Shalom. I'll refrain from making the awful jokes this time. So now, as we gather all of your smachot, your simchas that you've shared, we'd like to offer also a prayer. Divine source of blessings, we thank you for everything that enriches our lives. We turn to you now with gratitude as we share in the happiness of all those who mark their birthday and anniversary celebrations during this month of April. Adonai, be with them now and always. May they be blessed with the strength to overcome sickness and sorrow, and with much health and happiness now and always. As we honor each of you for the gifts that you bring to our sacred community, we join together in song as we mark this sacred occasion on the second page of your program. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shecheanu v'kimanu v'hingianu b'zman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shecheanu v'kimanu v'hingianu b'zman hazeh. Mazal tov. Shabbat shalom. Mazal tov. Mazal tov. Shabbat shalom. Mazal tov. Shabbat shalom. Mazal tov. Mazal tov. Shabbat shalom. It gives me great pleasure to welcome to the Bima someone that I think a good number of you already know quite well. The more for our 3rd and 4th grade class, Avi Forstein. Enjoy Mike. Mike's a good friend of mine.
Shabbat shalom. My name is Avi Forstein, and as the cantor said, I teach Judaics for the 3rd and 4th graders at the United Jewish School. Before I begin, I'd like to thank a couple of people tonight. First of all, I'd like to thank the cantor, Rick, for allowing me to give the sermon this evening, and also, if you did not know, for his amazing leadership at UJS. Together, we must thank Janice Fonger for all of her hard work behind the scenes at UJS. I want to thank my students and their families for joining us tonight. In advance, thank you to those who helped out with our potluck. I especially want to thank Stephanie Jensen for organizing our class's potluck tonight. I want to thank Elizabeth Rosewell, my teaching partner at UJS. She teaches Hebrew for most of my students, and I can never thank her enough for all she does because I know her job is 100 times harder than mine. I want to thank my madrika, Kenna Charbowski. She has been an amazing help for me this school year. Jumping in on something before I ask, helping our students feel comfortable and confident to speak in class, and always suggesting better ways to help the students to learn our lessons. She has been an invaluable asset, and I could not be more proud of her hard work. And of course, I want to thank Kat Finney for all the behind-the-scenes work she has done to make our Shabbat services run smoothly. A little bit about myself. I grew up in Sioux Falls, South Dakota with my Abba and Mom. I was a weird kid growing up. Other than baseball, I really didn't like sports. I spent most of my free time enacting imaginary scenes with my He-Man and Ninja Turtles action figures. I like to read humorous books, listen to Weird Al, and pretend I was a game show host. Add to all of that, being overweight and living in an area with a very small Jewish population, I spend a lot of my time watching movies and TV. I think it's inherent in all of us, even when we're kids, to want to connect to fictional characters who are just like us. At that time in the 80s and early 90s, I didn't see a lot of characters who were like me in the things that I watched, and needless to say, I didn't see a lot of Jewish characters. Yeah, there were all those TV specials about the Holocaust, and those religious movies about Jacob, Joseph, and Moses. but no characters in modern times who were young and Jewish. A few times I was exposed to someone who was like me. I got so excited and was so happy because I had found that connection I was looking for. One example is the 1988 Canadian movie, The Outside Chance of Maximilian Glick. It's a story of a preteen boy trying to prepare for his bar mitzvah when, according to the plot synopsis, the town rabbi dies. A subplot develops in which Max's father and grandfather, synagogue leaders, are saddled with a traditional Hasidic rabbi who sticks out like a sore thumb among the otherwise assimilated Jewish community. To make matters worse, Max likes a Catholic girl, and young love kind of sort of develops. And, well, I really don't want to spoil too much. Check it out sometime if you can. My favorite example to talk about is something that aired on March 24th, 1991, on The Simpsons. I watched one of my favorite episodes that night, and afterwards I couldn't wait to tell my parents about it. Now, trying to listen to a kid explain the plot of a TV show or a movie is challenging at times. So they didn't really care about it as much as I did. Every time the episode aired in reruns, I couldn't get my parents to watch it with me. My Abba was a rabbi. In fact, he was the only rabbi in South Dakota. My Abba was 45 years old when I was born. So, other than baseball, we really didn't have a lot of common interests when I was my student's age. The connection between Abba and I was not as strong as I wish it was. In the late 90s, my parents got divorced, and Abba became the rabbi for Temple B'nai Israel in Kalamazoo and Temple Beth El in Battle Creek. Every summer, I'd spend a few weeks with Abba, and now that I was growing older, he wanted to do more things together. Also around this time, they started putting classic episodes of The Simpsons out on VHS. Okay, for my students. A VHS was this thing called a tape. I want you to imagine a lighter, thinner, black brick you'd put into a device called a VCR, much in the same way that you would put bread into a horizontal toaster. You'd put the tape in, you'd press play, watch the film, then eject it when it was finished. It was the closest thing we had to Netflix at the time. Thankfully, they had put out this episode I loved on VHS. I bought a copy and brought it with me to Michigan when I visited and had Abba watch it with me. The episode is called Like Father, Like Clown. Krusty the Clown visits the Simpsons' house for dinner, and Krusty is invited to say grace before dinner. Krusty recites Hamotzi out loud, and the family is stunned. Lisa explains that Krusty is Jewish, to which Homer says, quote, "A Jewish entertainer? Get out of here." Soon after, Krusty starts to cry. He's crying because saying the blessing reminds him of his father and some painful memories. We see scenes of Krusty's father when Krusty was very young. He was a rabbi, and he encouraged people to do all sorts of various things, but forbids his son to be a clown. The rabbi continues to discourage all of his son's clowning activities. When Krusty got his big break on stage as a clown, the rabbi learned the entertainer was his son. The rabbi says that Krusty has brought shame to the family, and he never wants to see, quote, "you clown," ever again. He hasn't seen his father since. Krusty says that he thinks about his father often, even starting to cry again when he sees the cover of that month's Modern Jewish Father magazine. He's tried to call his father, but every time the rabbi picks up, Krusty just hangs up the phone. Seeing how heartbroken Krusty is, Bart and Lisa make it their mission for the rabbi to talk with his son again. But every time they talk to the rabbi, he gets angry and defensive, talking about Krusty, quote, turning his back on our traditions, on our family, on me, end quote. It doesn't help when the kids try to get the two to meet up at a deli by telling the rabbi Nobel Prize-winning author Saul Bellow wants to meet him and telling Krusty the French want to give him an award. The rabbi finds out that the deli's Krusty the Clown sandwich is made with ham, sausage, bacon, and mayo on white bread. This, of course, causes the rabbi to storm off before Krusty arrives. Finally, Lisa realizes, quote, Bart, we've been going about this all wrong. What's the one thing rabbis prize above anything else? Bart says, those silly hats? Lisa, no, Bart, knowledge. We're going to hit him where it hurts, right in the Judaica. Lisa researches, Bart argues. They quote the Talmud, Babylonian Talmud, and quote, some dynamite stuff from Rabbi Simon ben Eliezer. Nothing convinces the rabbi until Bart says, quote, Rabbi, did not a great man once say, the Jews are a swinging bunch of people? I mean, I've heard of persecution, but what they went through was ridiculous. But the great thing is, after thousands of years of waiting and holding on and fighting, they finally made it, end quote. The rabbi is very impressed and wants to know where the quote is from. Rabbi Hillel? Maimonides? The Dead Sea Scrolls? None of those. Bart says the quote came from Yes I Can, from Sammy Davis Jr., an entertainer like his son. The rabbi realizes if an entertainer could be so eloquent, he's been wrong about his son. Moments later, we see Krusty backstage at a show, and out of the shadows, his father walks in, and they embrace. Krusty brings him on stage, they sing, they hug, and the rabbi hits Krusty in the face with a pie. The end. After watching that episode with me, my Abba turned to me and said, Avi, I'd never be embarrassed if you became a clown. And in that moment, I knew the wait had been worth it. I tell this story for one simple reason. I encourage my students to find characters, whether in books, TV shows, or movies, that they connect with and love. And I would encourage the parents to share in that enjoyment with their children. Watching a Jewish child make a connection to something, anything, that reminds them of their own Judaism and the pride and joy of that Judaism is so wonderful, because you get to see a seed of Judaism being planted in a child and watch it grow. The connection doesn't have to be a character. It may be any media from something you love showing you Judaism. I've taught lots of my friends about Hanukkah and Passover, thanks to episodes of the 1990s animated show Rugrats. I've surprised my mom with Jewish references in shows like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and won't forget her face when she learned the name of the sword that the White Ranger yields is called Saba. And the times I was the one laughing a bit too hard at some of Mel Brooks's movies were always fun. Even learning through pop culture has planted Jewish seeds in me. Sure, I can say the Shema and the V'ahavta and recite the opening prayer before reading the Torah, but I'll never forget Itzhak Perlman showing me that Badbuk means bottle, and the Muppets teaching me to count to 10 in Hebrew on Shalom Sesame. Today, we have well-known Jewish athletes like Super Bowl MVP Julian Edelman, or the 2019 National Hockey League #1 overall draft pick and 3-time All-Star Jack Hughes. I wonder if I had gotten into sports sooner in life, if I would have had athletes as popular as they are today. There are plenty more examples out there, and I'm sure everyone here has a special character, a special episode, a special scene that has helped them grow the seeds they grew in their garden of Jewish pride. Here's hoping that in an age where so much media is out there, and we, as a society and as families, have less and less pop culture in common, we all take some time to show, to connect, to grow our Jewish pride using the things we love. It is just as important that when these seeds are planted in our children, that we, not just the parents, not just the teachers, not just the cantor and rabbis, but all of us encourage the growth in these seeds and allow our children to share with us those connections they have formed. It's not going to be easy, and we can't force children to like the same things that connected with us, but we can help them find their own connections and let them share their connections with us. The more they talk about the things they love with Jewish connections, the more their connections with their Judaism will grow, will strengthen, and will be cherished. So I ask you all to share those connections with each other and encourage your children to share theirs, so all of our Judaism can grow and last as long as the time it takes to watch every episode of The Simpsons that has aired since October 24th, 1991. Shabbat Shalom.
Yishar Koach. Very nicely done. And talk about what you were saying, yes, I have one of those moments too, and mine is from Top Secret, if any of you know that movie. Right near the end, Val Kilmer's first film. Right near the end, as the evil genius is spouting off their plan, says it's going to happen on Thursday, and the main character all of a sudden responds, Thursday? That's Simchas Torah. Has always stuck with me. And something else that always sticks with me as well is a fun character who loves to go back to Sesame Street. As I referenced earlier, we are in a period of time of the counting of the Omer. And for those who are wondering, what the heck is an Omer? Between the wheat harvest and the barley harvest, Torah tells us to count off 49 days, a week's worth of weeks, where an Omer of wheat is waved up in the air to say, like, hey, look, check it out. Now, do friends, if you happen to know what day we are going to be counting tonight, you will receive extra credit in Olam Haba, in the world to come. Anybody? Anyone? Bueller? 16 is the number. Nicely done, Matt. And so you'll hear that since Torah tells us in one time to count the day and another time to count the weeks, you'll hear both. We're now ready to count the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedeshanu v'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sefirat haomer. Hayom shishav asar yom shehem shnei shavuot ve'ushnei yamim la'omer. So today is going to be day 16 of the Omer, which is, if you can do the math, 2 weeks and 2 days. Exactly. If you would now please hop back to your Sidurim and going back into the whole, finishing up what's going to be happening in our services, please turn to page 130 and 131, and please rise in body or spirit for Aleinu l'Shabbeach. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'atid gedun l'yotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. Please be seated. At this time, we are thinking of those who we wish could be here with us to celebrate Shabbat. On this week, we are in the Shiva period, the 7-day memorial period, for Marcia Friedman, who is the mother of Sima and Dave Hutchings, the grandmother of Tim and Kate Cohen, the grandmother also of Daniel Hutchings and Robin Link, and the great-grandmother of Ari and Logan Cohen. And we are in the Shloshim period, the 30-day memorial period for Sharon Zach, the mother of Michelle Young and the grandmother of Morgan and Michael Young, of Lisa Generell, the mother of Jason Yost and the grandmother of Jake and Lily Yost, and of Don Goodman, the father-in-law of Judy Goodman. We also remember the Yartzites, the annual observance of Sophia S. Albert, the mother of Cheryl Blodgett, of Edward Bizar, the grandfather of Aleda Katonik, of Ruth Sinner, the mother of Dorothy Armstrong, Dorothy Cohen, the mother of Lonnie Weiner, of Martin Elliott Gray, the uncle of Claire Fisher, David Kravitz, a member of our community, of Par Margolis, uncle of Sharon Spungen, of Lou Mark, the father of Kathy Barkin, Ed Nash, the father of Nancy Rosen, of Nancy Salikoff, the mother of Sheila Frank, of Doris Winkleman, the mother of Margaret Winkleman, and in honor of Yom HaShoah, we also remember the 6 million Jews who were murdered during the Holocaust. If there are any other names that have not been mentioned that you would like to have mentioned, please say so at this time. Zichronam livracha. May their memory always be for a blessing. As a community, we will rise on page 134 for Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemeh rabba, be'alama divrachir ute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon uv'yechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehe shemeh rabba mivarach le'alam u'almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemeh dekudesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom alenu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. Please be seated. Oseh shalom, shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom, shalom bimromav. ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו Just a couple of announcements and thank yous. First of all, thank you, Phil, for making music with me tonight. It's always a pleasure. Thank you to Kayla for making sure that we could be heard tonight. Thank you to Kenna and Elizabeth for honoring us by lighting candles, and Avi for that wonderful Devar Torah. Thank you so very much. And to our third and fourth graders for helping me out during services. And yes, you'll see a little bit more of them later on as well. Another big thanks to Stephanie and Justin for organizing the event for our third and fourth grade class and that potluck. And as we wrap things up, you will find we love to end these days with our prayer for peace, which can be found on page 2, followed by Adon Olam on page 177. And afterwards, I'm going to need some help from my third and fourth grade friends. I'm going to just make brief mention. If you're not sick of me yet, you can come tomorrow morning for Torah study. I'll be talking about the very first composer of Jewish polyphonic music, Salomone Rossi Ebreo. And I also am going to make mention that if you'll see the Kesher at home, those conversations, we're expanding on creating some real community together by having folks gather together at homes and other places. Please make sure that you RSVP by April 20th. For everything else, you know how to read. You don't need me to read for you. If you are so able, please rise in either body or spirit. First on page 2 of our program for our prayer for peace, and then Adon Olam on page 177. Eternal source and soul of peace, send your peace into the heart of Am Yisrael, your people. Let it heal our divisions and soften the bitterness of intolerance. Let it dissolve distrust, isolation, and rivalry. May your peace inspire solidarity and renew our sense of shared purpose, uniting us as one people. Let peace grow and increase until it fills the earth. Let there be no hatred or jealousy, no things that bring sorrow or loss to people or nations. Only love and peace, steadfast, deep, and true. We yearn for love that binds us together, for the wisdom that comes through community, shared understanding, compassion, and trust. May the words we speak and the meditations of our hearts open pathways to truth and empathy and peace. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yetzir Nifra Le'it Na'asa B'chefzo Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Ve'acharei Kichlot HaKol Levado Yimloch Nora Ve'hu Haya Ve'hu Hover Ve'hu Yihye B'tifara Ve'hu Yihye B'tifara Ve'hu Echad Ve'en Sheni Lehamshil Leachbira Beli Reshit Beli Tachlit Ve'lo Ha'oz Ve'ha'misra Ve'lo Ha'oz Ve'ha'misra Ve'hu Eli Ve'chai Go'ali Betzur Chavli Be'et Sara Ve'hu Nisi U'manosli Menat Kosi Be'yom Ekra Menat Kosi Be'yom Ekra Be'yado Afkid Ruchi Ve'et Ishan Ve'a'ira Ve'im Ruchi Gefiati Adonai li velo ira Adonai li velo ira my third and fourth grade friends, come on up here, please. ויכלו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויכל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. סברי חבריי, ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת לחיים. L'chaim. Drink on up. Yep, that's something. Okay, now the fun part. Everyone, once you're done with that, go ahead and hand your cups to stack them up with Avi. And get in here. Everyone get in here and get a hand on this challah. Yeah, get a hand on it. Come on. Everyone. There's some space around this side. If you would come all the way around, we'll make sure that everyone can get a hand in there. Excellent. Ha-motzi lechem min haaretz. Wait, we give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is sung. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz v'te'avon. Everyone's going to have a piece. Rip it good. There's more people back there. Make sure they have a piece too. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, friends. See you in the social hall for some fun.